Once upon a time, in a faraway land, a young prince lived in a shining castle. Although he had everything his heart desired, he was selfish and unkind. One winter's night, an enchantress came to the castle, disguised as an old beggar woman. She offered him a single rose in return for shelter from the cold. But the prince sneered at her gift and turned it away. So the enchantress transformed him into a hideous beast and transformed all his servants into household objects. The spell would be broken only if the beast could learn to love and earn the summon's love in return, before the last petal fell from the enchanted rose. Ashamed of his ugliness, the beast locked himself away in his castle. An enchanted mirror was his only window to the outside world. As the years passed, he lost all hope. For who could ever love a beast? Not far from the castle, in a small village, lived a beautiful girl named Belle. Belle loved to read tales of far-off places, magic spells, and princes in disguise. She yearned for excitement in her life, and for someone with whom to share it. That someone was definitely not the handsome Gaston, who had announced his intention to marry Belle because she was the most beautiful girl in the village. Belle considered the Gaston self-centered and arrogant. Besides, she had other plans. Belle's father, Maurice, was an inventor. Although most of the inventions failed, "I'm about ready to give up all this hunk of junk," Maurice said one day, kicking into the latest project. "You always said that," Belle laughed, "but I just know you will win first prize at the fair." With Belle's encouragement, Maurice finally finished one of his inventions. That afternoon, he packed it on the wagon behind his horse Philip and headed for the fair. Hours later, they were still on the road. "We will have to take a shortcut through the woods," Maurice decided. The forest road was dark and scary. Then Philip heard wolves howling and reared in alarm. "Hooah, Philip, hooah!" Maurice cried, but the terrified horse bolted and threw his rider. Maurice had to flee from the wolves on foot. Just when he felt his strength would give out, he stumbled through the ghastly gates of a gloomy castle. No one answered his knock, so Maurice stepped cautiously inside the door. "Hello," he called. "Shh, not a word," Amanda Clock whispered to a golden candelabrum. "All cocksworth have a heart," the candelabrum replied. Then he called out, "You are welcome here, monsieur." Maurice was astonished to see a talking candelabrum. But when Lumiere invited to warm himself by the fire, he sank gratefully into a giant chair. By the time Mrs. Potts arrived with her son Chip to offer Maurice a nice cup of tea, he was quite enjoying himself. "What service?" he said. Just then, however, the door burst open and the beast's shadow fell over the room. "What are you doing here?" he growled. The next thing Maurice knew, a great claw had grabbed him and hauled him off the barred cell in the dungeon. Back in the village, Belle was waiting for her father to return when Gaston swaggered in with a proposal. "Picture this," he said. "A hunting lodge
my latest cake roasting on the fire, my little wife massaging my feet. And do you know who that little wife will be? You, Belle.
Belle couldn't think what to say. Finally, she replied, I'm very sorry, Gaston, but I just don't deserve you. As she maneuvered to get away from him, Gaston fell out the doorway and into a mud puddle, right in front of all the villagers he had invited to see his wedding.
I'll have Belle as my wife, he fumed. Make no mistake about that.
But Belle didn't hear him, for at the moment, Philip galloped into the yard. Where's Papa? Belle cried. You have to take me to him. The tired horse carried Belle back through the woods. Then she saw her father's hat on the ground inside a gate. She knew she had to enter the forbidden castle. Lumiere took one look at Belle and realized she was the one they had all been waiting for, the one who broke the spell. So he led the girl to her father. Oh, Papa, we had to get you out of here, Belle cried. But just then, the beast entered. Please, let my father out. He's sick, Belle begged.
He shouldn't have trespassed,
the beast replied.
There's nothing you can do. He is my prisoner.
Take me instead, Belle said.
Then you must promise to stay here forever,
the beast replied. So it was agreed. The beast dragged Maurice out the door to the enchanted carriage and sent him home. Belle was heartbroken as she watched her father leave. She had not even been allowed to say goodbye, but she knew she had to keep her promise to the beast. Then the wardrobe in her bedroom told her the beast wasn't as bad as it appeared. And the food at the castle was delicious, so Belle tried to make the best of things. Meanwhile, as soon as he returned her village, Maurice burst in the tavern shouting, Help! He's got Belle locked in the dungeon! But when he spoke of a horrible beast, the villagers decided the old inventor was crazy. While the others laughed at Maurice, Gaston took his friend Luffy aside.
I have a plan,
he said. He had thought of a way to try to convince Belle to marry him. At the castle, Belle was not locked out at all. The beast had given her permission to go anywhere in the castle she wanted, except the west wing. Soon, the west wing was all Belle could think about. So when no one was looking, she crept in. She found a dirty room full of cracked mirrors and broken furniture. The only beautiful living thing was the enchanted rose glowing inside a bell jar. She was about to touch it when the beast roared at her.
Why did you come here? Get out!
Belle was terrified. Lumiere and Cogsworth saw her as she ran through the halls, but they could not stop her. She ran out the front door, settled the Philip, and escaped into the freezing night. As Belle and Philip raced through the woods, they glimpsed the wild yellow eyes of the wolves in the darkness. But when they tried to run faster, Philip's reins caught in a tree branch. He reared up in fear, and Belle was thrown to the ground. Instantly, snarling wolves surrounded her. Suddenly, the beast's giant paw snatched one of the wolves and tossed him through the air. After the fierce battle, the wolves fled whining into the forest, but the beast had been hurt. Belle was about to jump back on the horse when she noticed that the beast had collapsed in pain. She hesitated only a moment before running to his side. Belle helped the beast back to the enchanted castle and nursed the wounds until he was better. Before long, Belle and the Beast were reading books, eating meals, and taking walks together. "Isn't it wonderful?" The enchanted objects agreed as they watched the couple becoming friends. Finally, the Beast allowed the enchanted objects to dress him in new clothes. "Tonight, when the moment is right, you must confess your love to her," Lumière advised to the Beast. So that night, after dinner, the Beast led Belle into the ballroom and they danced together to a beautiful love song. "Belle, are you happy here with me?" the Beast asked. "Yes, but," Belle said, "if only I could see my father just for a moment." "There is a way," the Beast told her, and then he brought out his enchanted mirror. When Belle looked into the mirror, she saw her father lost and shivering in the woods, searching for her. "Oh no, he's sick! He may be dying," Belle said. "Then you must go to him," the Beast said. "I release you, but take the mirror with you, so you will always have a way to look back and remember me."
"How can you let her go?" Cogsworth asked near tears.
"Because I love her," the Beast replied. With the mirror's help, Belle found her father and took him home.
"How did you escape from that horrible beast?"
her father asked. "I didn't escape, Papa. He let me go," Belle said. "He's changed somehow." Meanwhile, Gaston had convinced the director of the insane asylum to lock up Maurice. His plan was simple. He would convince Belle that he was the only one who could save her father, but only if she agreed to marry him.
"Everyone knows her father is a lunatic, talking about some giant beast, but Belle will do anything to protect him,"
Gaston explained. But when Gaston and the director arrived, followed by a crowd of curious villagers, Belle held up the enchanted mirror and showed them the image of the beast. "My father is not crazy," she protested. "The beast is real, but he is also quite kind." Gaston realized that Belle had feelings for the beast instead of himself. Enraged, he snatched the mirror from her.
"She is crazy as an old man," he told the crowd. "The beast will make off with your children. I say, we kill him."
And so the angry crowd followed Gaston through the woods to storm the beast's castle. The enchanted household objects saw the mob from the castle windows and prepared their defense. By the time the villagers battled through the castle door, an army of the angry objects were ready for them. "Now!" Lumière yelled, leading the attack. Immediately, forks and brooms and furniture and objects of every description hurled themselves through the air towards the astonished townspeople. But the beast, sure he had lost Belle forever, had no heart for fighting. "What shall we do, Master?" Mrs. Potts asked him. "It doesn't matter now. Let them come," the beast replied. So when Gaston stormed into his room, the beast didn't even attempt to defend himself. When Belle arrived seconds later, she saw that Gaston had forced the beast to the edge of the castle roof. "No!" Belle screamed. The sound of Belle's voice snapped the beast into action. He grabbed Gaston by the neck and dangled him over the edge of the roof.
"Let me go, I will do anything,"
Gaston pleaded. Full of rage, the beast hesitated for just a moment. Then he realized he was not really a beast at heart. He tossed the Gaston safely back on the balcony and turned towards Belle, who had raced up the stairs to find him. But just as the beast moved to embrace Belle, Gaston pulled a long hunting knife from his boot and stabbed the beast in the back. The beast let out a howl of pain. Gaston took a frightened step backwards, tripped over the edge, and plunged from the roof. But the beasts had been terribly wounded. Belle ran to his side and embraced them. "You came back," the beast whispered. "At least I got to see you one last time." "Don't like that. You'll be all right," Belle said, fighting back tears. In the beast's room, the last petal was about to drop from the rose. "No, please don't leave me. I love you," Belle sobbed, leaning down to kiss him just as the last petal fell. Magically, the beast arose and changed back into his human form. "Belle, it's me," said the prince. Belle rushed into the prince's arms. As they kissed, magic filled the air. Soon Lumiere, Cogsworth, Mrs. Potts and Chip, and all the other enchanted objects were transformed back into their human forms. That night, the castle was filled with love as Belle and the prince danced and danced, barely able to take their eyes off each other. And the castle was once again filled with life and laughter.